What's up, everybody? We are back. NFL picks predictions. This is week 6. I'm Matt McLear, also known as Beard Laws. We have Brandon J. McDermott, and we have Matt Brown. Fellas, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me all over social media. You find a social media platform, I'm there. Brandon J. McDermott.
And you can find me at the Ohana Jones.
This week, we're starting off with a fantastic game, in my opinion. It's Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers are opening at a 7-point favorite on the road. I'm intrigued about this one.
Tom Brady is still the GOAT. Who'd have thunk it at age 43, 5 touchdowns last week. Tampa Bay, more importantly, is 5-1 in their last 6 games against this spread. Who would be out of their mind to not take these Bucs? I'm taking them to cover.
Me too, Brandon. Me too. Look, apparently Tom Brady injured his thumb early on in the game against the Dolphins. Did you notice? Because I didn't notice. I mean, his over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns didn't notice either. I don't think we'll notice on Thursday as well. The Eagles will have to pass to keep it up. And look, Jalen Hurts tallied less than 200 yards through the air on Sunday. So I still like the Bucs big in this.
So the line did open at 6.5. It is now at 7. Eagles are at home. They're not terrible of a team, even though the NFL East, every time I talk bad about them, usually something good happens. So I'm going to say the Eagles are absolutely terrible. Sorry to some of the VegasOdds staff that Eagles are your team. And apparently I picked them last week. They won, and I got a lot of thanks. So I'm going to pick them again this week. I like the Eagles to cover the spread. Speaking of early football, the London games had started. We got to feel like what it was like for Matt and all of the people on the West Coast to wake up, watch some football. No, I know. I'm excited that football's on in the morning, but it's the Miami Dolphins taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars in London, and the Dolphins are a 3.5-point favorite.
Well, the NFL will start taking London seriously when they start putting decent games there. The Jags and the Dolphins, no. The game across the pond, a fun game with no real home field advantage, obviously. The Jags are winless, and the Dolphins have lost 4 straight. If Tua plays, I like the Dolphins to cover. If he doesn't, I think they win, but don't cover.
That's the one thing that I'm interested in, and that's the one thing that would make me wake up extra early to watch this game, and that's if Tua Tagovailoa is set to come off the IR, and is he really ready? Well, if not, this game will come down to Miami's defense, a bottom 10 defense at stopping the run, taking on a top 10 rushing offense in the Jags. So I like the Jags depending on Tua's return.
I think Jacksonville has to win at some point, and I think it's interesting that the Battle of Florida is going to London. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars just because I think at some point they have to win. Just maybe they'll, have one win this year and they'll never win in the States. They'll have 100% of their wins over in London. So next up, we got a division matchup. The Green Bay Packers versus Chicago Bears. It's opened up at a 4.5-point favorite with Green Bay as the favorite on the road.
Big fun rivalry game, maybe the last for Aaron Rodgers in Chicago as a Packer. Green Bay has owned Chicago over the past 2 decades, so I don't really care about what's happening right now. I'm looking at history for my factor here. I see the Packers winning and covering.
Yeah, while the Bears defense looked great against the Raiders on Sunday, the Packers are a totally different beast offensively. I haven't seen enough from this new look Bears offense under Justin Fields to think that they can keep up with Aaron Rodgers and the Pack, so I like the Pack here.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with you guys on this. The Bears are a sneaky 3-2. They have a chance to, break even with Green Bay with this game. I talked myself into it. I'm switching. I'm going Chicago plus 4.5 just because I talked myself into it. Let's move on to the next one. Kansas City Chiefs. And they're going to take on the Washington football team, and the Kansas City Chiefs seems like they're always a favorite for whatever reason. 6.5-point favorites on the road.
I don't care the troubles the Chiefs are having. It's simply a matter of time before it finally clicks. They do, however, have to turn off that turnover button and protect that football. But this is the most talented offense in the game. This could be the game they finally turn it all around, and it makes sense. Maybe they can just play offense on defense instead. Even on the road here, I see they cover.
I mean, if you told me at the beginning of the year that the 2 teams in this matchup will have the same record when they meet, I think Patrick Mahomes was injured week 1 or something. But nope, he's healthy. Casey has just had a rough time. But look, the Chiefs have also faced the toughest first 5 opponents in the league compared to every other team's first 5. Their schedule gets easier starting now, and I think Washington will be their first victim.
As I've been saying all year, I'm going to stick with it. You can't trust the NFC East. I'm not talking myself out of this one. I'm going with the Chiefs to cover the spread. I think this is the one where they turn it around. We're going to head out and we're going to watch a terrible Detroit Lions team. The Cincinnati Bengals are heading into Detroit. Cincinnati is a 3.5-point favorite.
Well, both these teams are coming off tough losses last week. The Lions suffering another in a line of heartbreaking losses. The Bengals have a kicker who needs to get some confidence back after missing 2 field goals last week that would have won them the game. I think it comes down to that in a close game and a last-second field goal. I think Cincinnati wins, but they won't cover.
This is that game between 2 heartbroken teams from last week, and I do think that a field goal will decide this game. I mean, first, the Bengals have started the year with 4 out of their 5 games being decided between 3 points, and also you have the Lions that have had those 2-point disasters, unfortunately. So I think no matter which way you slice it, this could be a field goal deciding game when that does not work in favor of the Bengals. I will take the Lions as well.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow's got a little bit beat up last week. Interested to see what he does. I agree with you guys. I like it as a close game. I even like Detroit winning at home, just so the Detroit Lion fans don't have to wear paper bags on their head like they have in so many years. Minnesota, school, they're traveling to Carolina, and they're a 1.5-point underdog on the road going to Carolina, where the weather, I heard, is going to be fantastic.
Minnesota obviously struggled last week against those Lions we were talking about. And taking a look against the spread, the Panthers have a better track record as of late versus the Vikings. The Vikings have been terrible against the spread. So I see the Panthers covering here even without Christian McCaffrey.
The Vikings are interesting in that we can see a really solid team perform one week and a team that struggles another week. And like you said, against the spread, they haven't been good. Minnesota is 0-4 against the spread following a win, which is what they're doing this week. Makes me feel like we're going to see the bad Vikings this week, and I like the Panthers as well.
I like the Panthers here. I think Darnold had such a terrible game. I think he's going to rebound. I think they're just a better football team here, especially at home, so I like Carolina. Next game up is the Los Angeles Rams and the New York Giants. The biggest spread of the week, 10.5 currently, is the Rams, 10.5 points. Rams are the favorite on the road.
And no doubt the Rams are going to be huge favorites here. The Giants are going to be without a bunch of folks, including Daniel Jones. The Rams have 10 days to rest after playing last Thursday. The Giants obviously play close early, I think, but the Rams are going to pull away and they'll cover.
I think the Rams have a sky's the limit kind of game here in terms of how much they can beat the Giants in this one. I hope our viewers have already got their bets in before Sunday's game. I've got the Rams, and I think everybody else does too.
This, to me, could potentially be a lock of the week. Spoiler alert, I think the Rams double-digit easy victory here. And like you said, Matt, jump on this action a little early because I see the line always moving the other direction. Let's talk about this next game. We're going to jump into some afternoon football. We have the Arizona Cardinals heading to Cleveland, but Arizona on the road, 2.5-point underdog, which surprised me a little bit.
You know, the Cardinals are the best looking team in football, and the Browns themselves, they also look sharp. This is going to be a shootout, I think. Murray and Mayfield, they face off, and this will be a must-watch, do not turn the channel type of game. I do find it interesting that the Browns are a favorite. However, I see the Cardinals winning.
Yeah, I see the Cardinals winning as well. Though, don't get me wrong, and I think we all agree this is going to be as tough of a test as they've had. The Browns look great in that shootout against the Chargers, and I mean, it may come down to just quarterbacking alone, Kyler Murray versus Baker Mayfield, and I will take Kyler Murray every day of the week.
Like you guys mentioned, they look like one of, if not the best teams in football. And I sat there just watching them the other day, being like, you know what? This is one of the most fun teams that I've seen play in a few years. They're just fun to watch. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. The over-under, surprisingly, at 50 right now. I could have easily see 60 to 80 points in this game, but I like Arizona here on the road. Next, we're going to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders heading to Brandon's beloved Denver. Denver opens at a 3-point favorite at home. I'd like to say I'm sorry about that loss last week, but it was a pretty mediocre game.
Well, mediocre. Nothing says the Denver Broncos quite like mediocre since Peyton Manning's left. Look, the Broncos looked rough these past few weeks, and Denver fans are up in arms over the play calling and the offensive side of things. The Raiders are obviously dealing with issues of their own with a controversy with some racist remarks that John Gruden made in an email years ago. Derek Carr also didn't look good. And he also took, I don't know if you watched the game, he took a wallop in that game in the loss to the Bears. This is going to be a toss-up, but I'm going to take my Broncos to win and to cover, but just barely.
Finally, I think we're going to differ here because Derek Carr he started off the year hot and now he's cooled off very considerably these last 2 weeks. I agree with that. However, there's another quarterback that faced the Broncos that we already mentioned that didn't start off well and then was able to recover, and that's Ben Roethlisberger. He had 250 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Broncos. I can see the Raiders looking more like the 3-0 team that we saw at the beginning of the year against the Broncos as well.
I'm liking Vegas here. I think this is a bounce back week for them. I think Pittsburgh was able to expose a couple of things that maybe Vegas can repeat, but who knows? Maybe Denver, they go ahead and they learn from this. But yeah, I like the Raiders +3. I could see them winning by a touchdown. We have the Dallas Cowboys, New England Patriots. Dallas opens up at a 4.5-point favorite. On the road, they're playing hot, but can they stay hot?
In my time of watching the Bill Belichick coached Pats, I've always said you never bet against a Bill, especially at home. But this Cowboys team feels different, even though they're notorious for making mistakes and having heartbreaking defeats. And I think part of this has to do with how good they are. Part of this has to do with how Matt has been putting down the NFC East. The Cowboys are on top. I mean, my goodness here. I do see them winning here, and I see them covering on the road.
I see that as well. Look, the Cowboys have looked very good, and they did look very good on Sunday. I think they continue that against the Patriots team that struggled to eke out a win. I know they won against the Texans, but it was still the Texans, and they had to come from behind there. So Dallas is now the only 5-0 team against the spread this year. I say we go with them.
Clearly, I believe the betting trend is everybody is hammering Dallas right now. I like New England to keep it close. I think that they can stay within a field goal of this hot Dallas team. New England coming off a loss at home. Bill Belichick. I think that they can cover here. Let's talk Sunday Night Football. As the Seattle Seahawks lose Russell Wilson in a pretty nasty injury, they are a 4.5-point underdog heading into Pittsburgh for a primetime game.
Russell Wilson's out with an injury, and get this, Ben Roethlisberger can throw the deep ball again. Who knew that was a thing? However, Pittsburgh is 0-5 at home this year not just this year, dating back to last year, as a favorite against the spread. I take Seattle to win this, and guess what? I don't even know who their starting quarterback is. Doesn't matter.
Well, look, I'm going to keep this simple. Russell Wilson is out with an injury. It's Geno Smith, I believe. That's who came in for him during the game. Even though the Steelers have had their own health issues, they have their quarterback, at least in Ben Roethlisberger, and he's going to look to compound on his good outing this past week, keep things rolling. I think I like the Steelers in this one.
Being a Steeler fan, I've watched a lot of Pittsburgh football. They seem to be terrible at home for the last little bit, which is strange. I just feel like they're going to play terrible. So I'm going to go Seattle plus 4.5 going in there. Let's talk Monday night. The Buffalo Bills coming off a very impressive win. They're going to travel to a tough Tennessee Titans, and the Bills are opening as a 5.5-point favorite.
The statement to win on the road in the fashion that Buffalo did last week against the reigning Super Bowl champions at Arrowhead cannot be understated. Now, the Titans, they're not a bad team at all, but the Bills are just playing at a different level. I take them to cover.
The way the Bills dominated the Chiefs this past week is reason enough for me to think that they can dominate almost every other team in the league. So Derrick Henry in the ground game for the Titans aren't set up to keep up with the scoring prowess of the Bills. So I definitely like the Bills here.
And I think this is going to be kind of one of those shocker games. Buffalo's been playing fantastic. Don't forget, they lost to the Steelers week 1. I think Tennessee is a fantastic football team. I don't know if they're going to win this game, but I think they are good enough. I think they set the pace with Derrick Henry, who's just an absolute animal. But I think they are a good enough team to either win this game outright or at least keep it close. So those are the games. So we're going to do something a little bit different with the locks of the week. What we're going to do is we're each going to pick our 3 locks of the week. Then we're going to have a super lock of the week where we all agree on one game. Brandon, you're up first.
Well, I like the Packers against the Bears to win here and to cover. I like the Bengals against the Lions, but I don't think the Bengals are going to cover. I like the Lions against that spread there. And here's the one I think we're going to agree on. I like the Cowboys away on the road against the Patriots.
I agree with you there on the Cowboys over the Patriots. I definitely like that one as a lock of the week. And I like the Bills over the Titans as well that we just talked about. And also I like the Rams over those Giants that are just injured.
And I'm going to go with the Rams minus 10.5. I like that right now. And I like Arizona on the road plus 2.5. And as mentioned, our super lock of the week is going to be Dallas minus 4.5. That's our unanimous lock of the week. There you go. 9 amazing picks. Those were the locks of the week. Trying something a little different. So let us know in the comments if you like the new locks of the week. We appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day to come and hang out with us. So again, I'm Matt with Beard Laws. You can find me anywhere, Beard Laws. And who are you again?
I'm Brandon McDermott. You don't know who I am? Brandon J. McDermott, all over social media.
And Matt Brown at the Ohana Jones.
Thanks, fellas. An absolute pleasure sitting down, chatting with you guys, and can't wait to hear what you guys think about this episode. Take care, everybody.